Today we're designing a garden city with a railway through the heart of the community, surrounded by industrial and some satellite residential zones. Let's begin. Hi everyone, welcome to episode 12 of Brookshore. Today we're going to be building a garden city as explained in the intro. This is the perfect place I think because Myrtle Farms in our Thornton village has bought this extra land to build their base for their bakery business and funding a lot of the money into the satellite villages and garden cities in general. They've chose this space because they know that the railway eventually is going to cut through and head down to the coast. So let's begin. So what I'm doing is first of all, I'm laying down our rail. Of course, this is why this land has been selected to build this garden city on, because we've got access to the rail, which will eventually be making its way down to our coast. There is a few little obstacles they've got to sort of pass, but that is a story for another day. So first of all, I'm not happy with how this kind of looks. I think towards the end of the episode, I might tackle this and put some land here, just slope it down so we get a better connection. I don't really love the way that these rails kind of sort of, hit the ground, the slope that it gives. But anyway, that is something I will do later. So we've got our rail down. Of course, we're going to need our station for our new garden city, and I'm just thinking which one to use. I don't want to go something too modern, and I want something a bit rural. So I think this one would be the best, which is the Seaside Historic Train Station. And I think this is a super, real cute little asset. It's got some intricate details on it. I love the sash windows and the cladding. And I think in the long term, it's obviously is a rural town, and it's not in a big city like we've got over in Coleridge or Victoria. It suits the needs of this town and the era. So we're going to go ahead with that one. I've sort of put the tracks in the wrong place here, and I'm just going to hook them back up. We're going to leave plenty of space, so if there is any congestion in the future, it's not going to affect us too much. I think we'll come out by, let's have a nice sweeping curve, 1500, and we'll do the same this side. Okay, so thinking ahead, I've just placed down an extra rail. I thought, just in case we need it, we're going to be bridging over here. I thought, just get it placed down, then we can work out our bridge trusts and spans. So I thought, thinking ahead. Obviously, it's the first time we're doing a bit of planning, really, in this era. So, and I put a couple of newspaper stands down, little security box, just some, our usual go-to carts, and a little market. And, of course, I put down some fence in here, which is from the farming industry DLC. So nothing crazy, just to flesh things out a little bit. Anyway, moving on. Let's talk about where we're going to be placing our road infrastructure, and that will be the next aim to get that place down. Of course, we're going to be building in our good old dirt roads. We'll try and go as close as possible. I think that's an okay, reasonable bridge span, and then we will do the same on this side as well. So part of the issue I had in my previous attempts at recording this video is I didn't want the commentary to sound too boring. There wasn't a lot of, I kind of felt like I was just sort of building and not really commentating enough. So I'm trying to try and get that middle ground where, there's not too many cuts, but we're sort of still productive at the same time. And of course, that's just a learning curve. But sometimes you can overthink things and you just got to really go for it. And I'm trying to have that mentality in this time with this build. So yeah, that's the reason why perhaps this episode's taking a little while to come out. Anyway, so I'm going to have a main drag. Of course, we need to focus putting in our campus area, a university, not a campus, sorry, it's going to be a university building, which is this one here. We're going to focus on getting this involved in the build. I think it's a wonderful asset, and I think it will make real nice sort of landmark and skyline to the actual place itself. Let's leave a tile space there. This road can come all the way down, and then we can just sort of cut back where we don't need that remaining road. And this is going to have to extend slightly. We'll have something in this area, not too sure what it will be yet, but something will be placed there, and we'll just hook in around the asset. Alright, onwards to our hierarchy. So let's get our first roundabout in of the series so far. So I think this is going to be a very important roundabout, because we're going to have essentially traffic entering from our main road into this sort of this main city of the garden city. Then the traffic's going to filter towards our industrial zones and filter into our residential, wherever we kind of sort of place those along the connectors. So it's going to be a very, very busy road, and I think the best way of dealing with this traffic would be to have something like a roundabout. And of course, it's an excuse to use one as well. So yeah, let's get one of those placed in. This road can pretty much head off in that direction. I think it'll be quite nice to have a curve, and then that will head off somewhere around here. We'll get a little bit creative with these winding roads, using these as guidelines, of course. Now we're gonna eventually plan to have like a little overpass here. I think we'd have seen a road probably meander its way through the centre of this landmass here. So, you know, with that in mind, I think it makes sense that we kind of sort of have that pre-built in. So let's connect into. Yeah, I'm not adverse to that, having a nice sweeping turn, and then of course this road can connect straight in. I'd like to keep it as realistic as possible. You don't always get like huge straight line roads, you know. There's always some kind of turn because there was a pre-grading of the road, so I like to keep it a little bit natural where I can. So we'll have a residential zone probably here, one maybe in this section, another one in here. Of course we'll have our industry. That's the main funding of this actual build. We'll have it in this section here, so I don't want to go too close to the highway. At the same time, I want to make sure there's enough green belt around our existing communities once they obviously get placed. So I think we'll build the industry in this section. We'll come back to that in a moment, but for now I think we're pretty good with our infrastructure. Now I want to flip this asset around. I want the front of the building to be facing this way. I guess we could cut ties here actually, because we could use that for some very important commercial in the future. So let's get that zoned in now, so don't forget. And this is, yeah, the cars we'll upgrade, I think, to stop parking on the outside the university, and we'll have them make the most of these little parking spaces out the front. Alright, so let's have a look at some of the assets that we're going to be placing. Of course, we've got our university, we've got our train station. We need some other grand buildings as well. Not just buildings, we need some, I think, decorations like plazas. I found a fantastic fountain and I like the look of this one, and that will go right outside our university. And that looks pretty special to me. So I think we'll go for that. So what is the main, you know, what am I looking to achieve here? I want to create a place that's got high land value, something a little bit different to what we've built before, and of course it will just add a little bit more character to Brookshore as a whole. This section here I think would work. Actually, one thing I haven't done is, I'm going to quickly pause it, I'm going to need to set the district. This is important to me, that this district alone is just it's going to be European buildings. I like the buildings that have grown in the series so far. It suits the era. I think these buildings still suit the time frame that we're in. So, you know, let's just carry on for the moment building with these ones. Alright, High District. It's definitely not going to be called the High District. If you've got any names, just drop them in the suggestion in the comment section. I'd be more than happy to have a look through what you guys come up with. So please do that. That will help the algorithms, of course, as well, and get the video pushed out to a wider audience. Anyway, enough about that. Let's carry on building. So we've got our fountain here. I don't think we need electric just yet. Hopefully those buildings will grow back. I will be culling some of the buildings that I don't like. But anyway, let me be quiet for a moment and let's push on with our building. So I think what would be nice, we need some services over here. I want to put a churchyard just outside the main square. So you can kind of imagine that maybe this is like a little bit on the weekend, perhaps it's a market town. And I think that will, it just adds a little bit of historical character. And, you know, I do like using this asset as well. And it will help with our death care, fundamentally. So let's get that placed in. We need some services. So I'm thinking, we've got a little space here. Let's pop our fire station down. And just add something different. I don't know. It might not even work. But let's see. Let's see how that kind of fares. Right, so let's get a library in. Of course, this is another really, really nice building. If you've been following along with the series so far now, you know that I've got a real like for these assets, the seaside resort assets, especially for the build we're in. They work wonders, and we're going to continue on using them. I don't know, the colour schemes are sort of all looking quite nice at the moment. There's nothing modern here that's standing out, so I am going to keep on pressing on with them until we move into an area where you don't really expect to see these buildings. So for now, we're going to carry on using them. I think we'll continue that down there, not with the one-way road, so that might make things a little bit awkward. So let's continue that down there. It gives us another little bit of a cut through. This one, entrances are at the back. I like this one. It's quite a big building, so let's get that placed. And I'm just going to wrap a road all the way around, so they've got access to the the doors and that of the building. Let's get that placed just on the outskirts of the high street. So I'm just going to cut off power, I think. Yep. Just going to temporary hook into here. All right. Okay. So it's not the nicest looking asset, but I think for the time being it'll be okay. I'm going to wrap a road around this, and I'm just searching now for the basketball and tennis courts. So I think we'll have a tennis court, basketball court, and let's go for another tennis court this side. Just a bit of symmetry. Alright, what's next? So we need a post office. Every town needs a little post office, so we'll put one on the corner here, and then to fill this sort of space we'll go for a few. I think we'll go for the vanilla ones. These are not the vanilla, these are the horse chestnut ones. You know what, I think we're going to go for a couple of the vanilla ones. Let's mix it up a little bit today. Let's go for 2 of those on the edge. They do add a pop of colour, and they tie in with these ones too. So anyway, now let's look at our residential, and then we're going to be sort of going on to the main part of the build, which will be the industrial. So I'm going to do the residential first. So I've got a few plans. I actually know what I'm going to do. I'm going to do one residential, I'm going to do then the industrial, and then we're going to do the other residential over in this section. Let's just take a break and just have a look round how this place is growing. Oh, yeah, I do like that one. That can stay, sure. Yeah, it looks nice. Of course, they're going to be overlooking these tracks, but my plan during the end of the episode, or I might do it between episodes, we'll see how far we get. I'm going to put some trees down. This is all going to be green belt, around in between the populated areas, and of course our industrial. Just being a bit mindful. I've just cut back to this part of the video. I'm just being a bit mindful where I sort of connect in here. We don't want to go too close because there's going to be trees surrounding here, so I might just take that out actually. I don't want to go, as I say, I don't want to go too close to this road, so we'll probably, I think that's as far as we'll go to that national road. And we'll have some 4x4s in here, and stop it off. We'll have a little bit more commercial on this side, and then on this side it'll be residential. So we haven't got the demand at the moment for the residential, but that should give us a nice boost to our population once these homes start growing in. Alright, one thing we haven't put down, which even in the whole of the series so far, is we haven't got any of our elder care and our child health care. So I think we'll have a bit of a education area here. So let's get an elementary school down, child healthcare, and we'll also get a little sort of playground on here as well. So that's pretty much our education needs provided for this area, which is great. So we're going to drag Myrtle Farms over here because we're going to include the bakery and some flour mills. I will tidy up this when we know what we're building. But yeah, the aim for this is to build some spaced out farms and stuff like some spaced out flour mills and the bakery, but incorporate it with our parks just to make it feel a little bit more of a nicer place to work for. That's the whole idea. Is these companies funded this area, this garden city, to make it a bit more, a big contrast to the lives that people are living in the main towns. So hopefully it will look quite nice at the end of it. I'm hoping it will. But this is the first time we're going to sort of really throw down a lot of trees and beautify it a bit more. So on this side it might look nice. Let's throw down our bakery. It's in the unique building, and I might get that on the side. It is a little bit hidden, which isn't the greatest of ideas, I don't think. So maybe we rehouse this here. I just want you to be able to see it from the main road. So I think we'll come a little bit closer then. Let's pull that out and then bring that forward. Yeah, let's pop that there, and then what we can do is we can bring a little pathway. Just going to come off the angle, and just going to bring a pathway. Actually, it could meet up with that one. That might look quite nice. Yeah, as you drive past you see this. We'll have some nice trees out here, maybe like a little fountain or something like that. There is a nice plaza one that I quite often use in the Park Life DLC, which is here. I quite often come to the Park Plaza. It's small enough to fit, most builds. So this is the main gem of the area. So let's make it look a little bit nicer. And then all the nasty, industry stuff we will shove around the back of the building. Just going to trim that off, and then we'll enclose that. We'll need some storage, so I'm going to put that one this side. And again, it's all about thinking about the view, so you can't see it from the main road, so it looks a lot nicer. And we're going to put in here our unique factory products from our bakery. And there ain't going to be no baking until we get our water over here, so let's get that done. Alright, so I've moved that road from this side and I've placed it down this way. I want to keep the views of this bakery the main attraction. So I'm going to place these over on this side. So that's alright. We'll have some trees, so that will hide that. It's not too close. But this isn't... I don't think that's too bad. I don't think that looks too bad from the main road. And of course it just means that it spaces it out a little bit as well. So we'll place them down. We'll put some more storage down. We'll need some grain silos. I'm going to spread these out a little bit. We'll have two on the back end of the factory here. So one here. If I'd have put them there, they're encroaching a little bit on this, so we'll keep that a little bit further away. So we'll have some flour here, and then in this one we'll go for just some commercial goods. I think that's all I'm going to place down here. I might put a couple of some barns down, but I don't want to overdo it. As I say, it's just going to be, it is a small little industrial, small little industrial area. I suppose we could have a barn, a couple of barns, as you see from the highway. But yeah, there's nothing. I don't want to put any zone down if I can help it. So we'll have a couple of storage facilities, and I think that will be good. Alright, so let's place some more residential down. We've got the demand, and this one's going to be, I think you're going to like this one. It's going to be different. I want to create some roads that are not necessarily grid, but they're going to be like winding circular roads. So I'm just using a roundabout essentially as a bit of a template. Get that curved into there. That road can dead end there, and then this one can connect in like so. You know, I don't usually build like this. You know, I don't find it realistic, but in this kind of instance, I think this is more than acceptable. It works. It basically, you know, once we get this zoned in, you'll see in a moment, I'm going to lay down a district. Once we get this zoned in, it's going to be really special. It's going to be something completely different. Oh, it's going to be something completely different that we've not done before in terms of residential, and it's going to give us some interesting layout for our residential too. So let's create another district in this area, because I'm going to have this more as the suburbia, the European suburbia. Wow, this traffic is pretty crazy at the moment. All these people looking to get into the new town, which is good. I suppose it's probably a lot of it's to do with the storage, but anyway, right. So I've zoned in our you know, funky residential zone over here, and I've just added an extra connection. Before we move on to the detailing part of the episode, I think it would be sensible to get our final residential satellite area up and running. So we're going to centre it around just a vanilla park. So we'll just go 10 tiles by 10 tiles. Nope, we need to go 10 by 11. So everything's going to be essentially centred around this park in the middle. And we will need, ideally, another entrance, otherwise it's going to be a bit cul-de-sac. And I don't want to go too close to the rails as well. So probably just going to keep this more like a, you know, a bit of a gridish area, like a checkerboard area, and then I think we'll come down to about there, and that'll be enough just for a little bit more of a residential expansion. And of course it's a little bit more out of the way from the from the commercial zones. There's a little bit of a quieter living over in this section. So we've got plenty of homes down, we've got plenty of expansion. Finally, this little square here, I want to make this a park area, and what I'm thinking is we'll use our elder care building just to go on the corner of here. It's a nice 90-degree corner, so we can place that just off of the park. We'll look after our elders and we'll place that on the corner. They've got nice views out into the countryside and the mountains. And then we'll place down our park gate right next door. Yeah, that's alright. It's not the nicest connection, but it's important that we don't cul-de-sac this whole area off. So we've got some nice plazas in the middle, and again I'm just going to slam the zoning down and just cut off where I don't want them to grow in. Okay, so they're kind of like little mini housing estates. Once we get our green belt around here, they'll fill in quite nice. It's looking a little bit too bare for my liking at the moment. But anyway, moving on to the last part of the episode, I'm going to place down, before I go into the detailing, I'm going to place down some of our green belt action, and it's just going to be a matter of trying to tie in as many of these areas with walkability as possible, rather than having high density commercial and residential everywhere. It makes a change to have some nice sort of, you know, rural areas where people can still live, and of course get away from the hustle and bustle of the towns, the main city centres. So I'm just looking for areas where we can connect in and cut in away if I make any mistakes like that. I want to try and keep them all 4x4s. There's another excuse to connect into here as well. I'm keeping them gravel paths. Once we get the trees down, this will all tie together. can see, things are starting to pick up over here with land value. During the time lapse we've just seen, I have placed down quite a few amenities and services and a lot of trees. We're looking pretty countrified out here. It does feel a lot more realistic, and it is nice to see. So yeah, so we're doing okay. Traffic might become a bit of an issue. I think a lot of this is people just moving in over time. I'm hoping that traffic will die down. We've got another connection here, but everyone wants to seem to head into this one. But I think on the whole, we should see this traffic die down and start populating the area. But it's quite, if I don't mind saying so myself, it feels like a bit of a special area. We've got everything that we need. Feels very luxurious. And if we contrast that with other parts of the map so far of Brookshore, you can really feel the difference, and that this was kind of a project. And I think we've achieved it pretty well. We've got some interesting residential areas, and we've still got some room to grow. We've got a nice built up city. I will kind of probably change these in between episode. We've got the main city here. Our satellite towns are very bolstered up with a lot of leisure and activities. It would be a beautiful place to live. And of course, we've got our factory area over here, which is it's nice to see. It's no zoned, heavy, dirty industry. It's nice, cleaner industry, and a nice headquarters for the bakery. I think it looks, workers are enjoying it. They're even taking their dogs to work. So I'm going to leave you with some cinematics. I hope you've enjoyed today's episode. If you have, please feel free to drop a like on the video. It's greatly appreciated. And also subscribe to the channel when you can see some more of Brookshore's, and hit the notification bell to know when I drop the new episodes. But anyway, as I say, thanks for joining me today. I'll leave you with some cinematics. Take care. Bye bye.